Hey everybody, it's your pal Drew, and I am back. And here's some more comics from my spinner rack. I'm trying to make like a theme song, but nope. It's pretty awful. So let's start with Jemm, son of Santa. I was thinking about that because Alan Kupperberg wrote and drew a story called Son of Santa in Bizarre Adventures years ago. I mean, 40 plus years ago, and it was about the son of Santa, and he was going to take over, and it's really funny and dark. But anyway, enough of that. I babbled. So anyway, a big fan of Gene Colan's and Bob McLeod. I used to say McLeod forever and a day, and just like John Byron, I thought, instead of John Byrne. So Greg Potter, I don't really know if he's had a lot of comics published, and if he has, then I apologize, but this was a 12-part maxi series, and by the looks of it, I mean, it's a great cover, and I love, as an inker, I love the darkness to the light, like and it's organic instead of straight lines. I love doing that kind of stuff. So but the thing is, I don't know if 12 issues dedicated to this guy it was a little haphazard, I think, because, well, I'll show you. This is the final issue, and it's double-sized, right? Yeah. No? I don't know. It feels double-sized. I can't remember what the prices were. But the paper's really good. They went to Mendo paper around this time. And the thing is, Gene Colan, he's not really a sci-fi kind of guy. And I know you're going to say, oh, what about the first Guardians of the Galaxy in the late 60s? Well, if you study it, it's not his best stuff. It's like Arnold Drake's story writing kind of bridges some of the stuff that Colan did. And I'm not bagging on Colan. I like pretty much everything he does. But, I'm just being frank. All those annuals, pretty cool. It was a cool time to be a DC fan. But it's just not... There was a Daredevil issue, I think it was Daredevil 29 way back in the day, that had aliens in it, and he likes to draw aliens like with turnip type heads, like turnips. But like he's better with the emotional human stuff like that. Really cool. And I read this, and it was one of the things that, like, after I read it, I kind of forgot about it because it was out of focus. Whoa. There we go. It just, it's one of those stories that you read and immediately you kind of forget. So it's some great stuff. Grant Morrison brought him back briefly in Animal Man towards the end of his run around issue 24, 25. But this does have a great ending, though, I have to say. But I can't imagine buying 12 issues of this. You have to look at what else is on the rack, and say, well, this is a great finale, but the other covers just don't convey, like, I can separate myself from my money. But this, I got this a while back. Sticky? Oh, okay. So anyway, I got this comic a long time ago. I got a lot... When I was a kid, I got a lot of my comics from older kids, and because comics were more disposable in the early 70s, mid 70s as well, a lot of guys, especially, it was mostly a guy thing, they grew out of it. They kind of felt like, that's kid stuff, I'm going to get rid of it, and I benefited on occasion. And so the Silver Samurai, very first appearance, which I'm sure if this book was in good shape, probably worth it quite a bit, but you got giant spine roll there. And you have Shaun of the She-Devil filling in for Black Widow for this issue. So beautiful cover, and the costume's completely different. So the Silver Samurai. The Sylvia Samurai is his sister. They don't talk much. Steve Gerber writing. Well, this is Gerber's first real superhero type books, but he's playing by the rules. He's not really doing trippy stuff that he would do on Defenders, like have a magician in the body of a deer or the kidney lady and stuff like that. and Bob Brown's the artist, and I love Bob Brown's stuff. A lot of people are like, they bag on him, but the fact of the matter is, his stuff was poorly inked for a long time, and the thing, like the Avengers Defenders War, but also having a single character plays to his strengths. Team books are not for everybody. I mean, they just, that's just the way it is. Early Tom Orzechowski lettering, Jim Mooney's inking. It's a real great tie. I mean, great team. So there's Shanna the She-Devil with her kitties, and that's really good for like a 1973, 4 issue production wise. So they're catching you up on some of this stuff. But the writing is really good because doesn't feel like a document dump like a lot of continued books do. And so he takes off. The Bob Brown draws Daredevil and other single characters with such an elegance. So you see a lot of follow through that people won't notice. Good old radar sense. So here he comes. Now he's dodging, then he's jumping, then he's dodging again. That's a great follow through. Then he's wide awake and I'm half dead of fatigue, so he's getting the hell out of there. Little coloring mistake. Oh well. Look at that body there. Look how that is such an unconventional body. You ever see like sometimes you see artwork and it doesn't look convincing enough, but then you'll see a photo and it's like, yeah, that's about right, because you can't, can't fake that. At least way back when. Cutting that, beautiful, and he barely gets away from the blade. It's just such great choreography. And here comes the keys and Shanna the She-Devil. They pile on, they get kicked off. And I think the next time we see Silver Samurai after this storyline is in that Marvel Team Up 57 with the Black Widow and his, I think it might have been Dave Cockrum or it was Sal Buscema who redesigned the costume, and it was fantastic. Really, really, but it was his first appearance. And I've mentioned this before, in the Bronze Age, in the middle of the year, in the middle of the decade, they were cheaping out on artists. Instead of doing only 18 or 17 pages, they would have like one of the pages would be half size. I mean, instead of pages usually 11 by 17, but if you turn it sideways and you use both for that size, it's going to blow up really big. It was basically ripping the creatives off of a page. But Jim Mooney really, really feels as well. There's a bunch of Vince Coletta ones and some others that are just pure shite. So look at those eyes. I love those eyelids. And here we go. Very dynamic stuff. And there is Super Skrull. Pretty cool. And what's amazing is Kirby is so magnificent that this actually was not a pose from him moving. He actually fell in an issue of Thor. And hello, Kirby's just got that magic. And we get a letter from a young Ralph Macchio, who he's been on Marvel for 50 years or so. And I've always wanted to ask, he has some important job or he wouldn't be there. I always wondered what he's given to decide on, because he's a super quiet guy. He's not a very public person. I've never met him either. So I always kind of hate this character. Hate him too. The story is still good. Wow. See what I'm saying? There's some great stuff going on there. Barely dodges what is that? Some kind of knife. I can't think of it. It's some Asian name. So, pretty spiffy, eh? I would say so. Next is Vigilante. I just picked this up at Dave's Comics in Fayetteville. I may have to buy the whole series. They only did a trade paperback of like the first 6 or 8 issues, which had Keith Pollard, who did amazing work, and then he switched to somebody else. I think I had to cut it because finances. At my, just you have to decide something. So this is issue 14, but later issues have Gil Kane. I've done an episode on that. Man, is that amazing? I love production stuff like that. That's a very similar pose to the one from issue 1, but I may end up getting the rest because I think, I don't know if it's Alan Moore or somebody else who does the last few issues. So this is Trevor Von Eden, who developed this really like shorthand style, but it still tells a story magnificently. He did, I gotta buy this sometime, the Batman and the Outsiders Annual #1. He did it, it looked like maybe in a week or something or less. It's really kind of crude, and I really hated it because I was collecting the book at the time. But now that I'm older, I'm like, wow, this is freaking genius if he's just banging this out. And Vigilante kind of gets his ass kicked a lot in this issue. That's a nice piece of art there. I think that's Tom Mandrake. So we see how it's just so intense. And it is like taking snapshots of, what do you call, like a cop movie or a, I love it. Later on, we would see like the late John Paul Leon kind of be influenced by this kind of stuff. But, yeah, I'm digging this so much. I'm also wondering, well, I don't know, I just think he influenced a lot more people than fans know. Great shot there. So you see, he could do like conventional superhero stuff, but he was, excuse me, but he had this dynamic, quick style that he also did on a book called Thriller that only lasted, it lasted about a few months or so. Man, that's cool. I love this. Dick Giordano, except this one, other than Dick Giordano, he was the editor-in-chief in the mid-80s, and he did a column every month, and it was really enjoyable, real inviting. He's talking about Don Newton, fantastic artist, started off at Charlton, like a lot of people did, and then he went on to work for DC, almost exclusively, except for Avengers Annual #9, which is gorgeous, and so it's sort of a, tribute to him. And what's interesting with Dick Giordano is he was being, he would tell us about his day. Like, believe it or not, he would get up like at 5, ink a whole page because he was one of the greatest thinkers, and he would do that, and then, take the subway into to New York City and do his duties and stuff like that, and head back home. And I love that. I love that he would share that kind of thing. Now, the reason I got this is, you go back to the conventional Iron Man armor that I love, and it's written by Chuck Dixon, who I've got to be pals with eventually, and Paul Ryan, who's passed on unfortunately way too soon. If you've liked, he did a lot of stuff. He did the West Coast Avengers. He did Fantastic Four for several years. And Mark Pennington, I know too. He worked at CrossGen. What is that, Sticker? There. But Bobby Chase, she was a really good editor on a lot of stuff. She really, she edited Peter David's Hulk. So right there, that's stuff to hang your hat on. So love that. And Chuck, he sort of treats us as like a movie, but more, I can't quite, it's like off the Marvel brand, where it's sort of like a submarine story. Because there is a boat that's sunk way deep that Nick Fury wants Iron Man to recover. And like, my instructions for Mr. Stark were specific. So you're telling me there's new developments? Jasper Sitwell's I Live and Breathe. So love it. I like the colors a lot too. Look at the colors. Steve Oliver. Yeah. The sub is highly classified. I need discretion here. Your job is to access the situation, but don't attempt to rescue on your own. What about the men on board? That's my lookout, Tinhead. This thing's on ice, Nick. You're on S.H.I.E.L.D.'s payroll, and he needs his cut. What? Oh, you're on Stark's payroll, and Stark needs his cut of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s budget. This trip is non-refundable. This really sounds like what Chuck would say, because he's very educated on that kind of stuff. He still is. Man, it's beautiful. And he's got the old mouth with the little gaps in it. So, it is lovely. So good. I wish I got to ink it, but Mark Pennington, who worked at CrossGen with us, he was exceptional. He's still exceptional. That's sort of a Bob Layton tribute there on the face. And what happens is there's this horrible mutated creature. Good Lord, a survivor. Help me. So we have a problem here. The sub's about to come off, but it's got a lot of, not just that critter, it has a lot of valuable stuff. I mean valuable information-wise and tech-wise. Your prize is slipping off the shelf. We're at 600 feet. Hull structure is collapsing. My own tolerances are holding, but that won't help with this sub pancakes. That's it. The hull's going. I'm abandoning the ship. Look at all that work. I love that stuff. I know you don't see it much in modern comics, but you do see a lot of headshots in modern comics. They kind of cheat out of a lot of detail. You got a lot of explaining to do to me and my boy. So, wow. We decoded some old Hydra transmission from data files we found at one of our bases. Stuff about Project Silica, genetic stuff, nightmare stuff. The creature in the sub, they were trying to create a hybrid human that could live underwater, deep underwater. And I think it survived that. Nothing. So, really, really cool stuff. Now we get to the gold standard. When this came out, I was still, I wasn't able, I didn't have, what is it? I didn't have a driver's license yet, and I was buying lots of comics because I didn't have anything else to spend it on. But this I got every month, and this is probably the last great story that Kirby did, and it's been documented that like the last 6 issues of Fantastic Four, at least he was so disinterested. His art was still gorgeous, but you could clearly see he's going through the motions because he went to DC and he said, well, to himself, his wife did too, Roz, like, why are you giving Marvel more ideas? So Torgo was the last thing he had created, I think. Well, he did. The other books he did. He brought back older foes that were already created. But here's Torgo. They are battle slaves. They basically have to fight, or their planet gets destroyed. And wow, stunning. I love that rhino creature. So Kirby went back to something he knew well of growing up in the 30s as a kid, seeing mobsters. So he used a reference from real mobsters in there. Wow, that's beautiful. Now here, see? Ain't gonna do what I want, see? Man. Look at that established shot. Oh, too cool. Okay. Man, I love that guy right there in the middle. I love that. The body language, let's see. And Torgo and the Thing, they become friendly, but they have to fight each other. And they're just messing around in the prison, for the holding cell, whatever they call it. Strong arms. Or this reminds me of like the Arnim Zola stuff he would do later in his career on Captain America. Sorry, I had a hiccup there. So, boy. This is beautiful stuff. And concluded next issue. And also that's when Stan sort of decided to make every issue a single issue because some of the plots were going on long. And I didn't mind it, but I understood why he did it, because maybe he was looking at sales figures. Maybe people felt alienated that all the Marvel comics were continuing. I mean, comics that go on, like Walking Dead and all that stuff, you know, it's perfectly fine. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of books, but you gotta understand it. It's like if every single Marvel book had continuation, then it would be a lot to be. It's kind of like the Marvel movies were for quite a while. Like we had to watch every movie, every streaming show to figure out the MCU, understand it fully, because it deviates from Marvel Comics. So that's about it, everybody. And I'm glad you watched this, and I'm always grateful. And tell a friend, please. Hit like and subscribe. If you haven't, there are people, YouTube people with much bigger subscribers than me, have talked about the algorithms on YouTube have been screwing around, where people who were subscribed all of a sudden aren't. And so if you haven't, just double check if you're still subscribed, because it's just stupid. It's just a dumb thing that we have to tolerate. Anyway, thank you for tolerating me for 20 minutes. Wishing you all the best, and see ya.